Ba, ba, da, ba. Bring me a higher love. Whoa. You know, once I'm live and I'm singing, sometimes I forget that you all can actually hear me. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Hey, Pete. Good evening. Jessica Carter, the peaceful billionaire here. It's late as usual, I feel like, and it's been a long day, and I am feeling the long day. Went to bed late last night, got up early this morning, feeling the long day, ready for bed, but still showing up for you and bringing you the peaceful billionaire frequency and some diamonds and pearls of wisdom to guide you on your path, to guide you on your journey. And I did contemplate, and based on all of those things I just shared, like, do I go live tonight? Do I not go live tonight? And I said, Jessica, you do go live tonight, because that was a commitment that you made, not only to all of the people who who follow you, but to all of the people who might come across your message on the exact perfect day that they needed to hear it, and to keep the commitment to yourself. So I am here no matter what the circumstances, right? And it wasn't one of the ones I was planning on talking about, but one of, I talked early on at the beginning of last month about exercising your success muscle. And that was not what I was planning on talking about tonight. And I will circle into the other things that I wanted to chat about. However, in regards to exercising that success muscle, one of the important success muscles to exercise is not only stepping outside of your comfort zone and becoming comfortable with things that are uncomfortable, right? That's one of the success muscles that I have gotten really, really good at on this journey, is being okay. Number one, embracing the unknown, embracing uncertainty, and also embracing things that are uncomfortable, right? And stepping outside of my comfort zone. And then once you get outside your comfort zone and you find that new normal, right? Now you have a new baseline, you have a new bottom. And so then to stretch further outside of the comfort zone, you're going out even further, right? And so that continues to grow and expand. So your foundation of what's comfortable versus not comfortable is continually expanding along with you. And part of exercising that muscle is doing the things that not only are uncomfortable, but perhaps you don't feel like doing, right? There's a lot of times that, whether that's pressing play, getting in the car to go to the gym, right? Reading a book, making a certain phone call, whatever it is, sometimes, right? Sometimes you don't feel like doing it. But part of exercising that success muscle is doing the things that you might not necessarily feel like doing, right? I don't necessarily feel like doing my workout every day, even though I enjoy working out. There are some days I don't feel like it, but I do it anyways, and I'm always glad that I did. But again, that was not necessarily what I was planning on talking about, but that was the direction that things went. But it does actually tie in really well with what I did want to talk about tonight, which is this: two things. Mediocrity mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. Mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. And understanding that is a choice, whether that's in regards to your financial life, your personal life, your professional life, your romantic life, a romantic partnership, your health and fitness, right? Whatever category of your life that is, and inviting in this idea that mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. Mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. And in many of my talks, I will often open with the question, how rich can you be? And the answer is you can be as rich as you choose to be, or as rich as your current level of contentment. So that contentment, right? That contentment, there's a lot of people who choose to be content with mediocrity. And so the invitation is the understanding that that's a choice and it's not an obligation. So meaning at any point in time, you can choose to rise above, right? And choose extraordinary over mediocrity. Choose extraordinary over mediocrity. And one of the ways that ties in really closely is one of the principles that I do my very, very best to live by every single day, which is never add time. Never add time. There's so many areas in your life that never adding time applies. And it ties in with doing the things that are uncomfortable, stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing it even when you don't feel like doing it even though it's uncomfortable, right? Saying yes to yourself even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's scary, even though you might not feel like it. Saying yes to yourself, right? Saying yes to yourself. And when you never add time, so if you see something in your external life that you're not super thrilled with, perhaps it's you'd like to grow and expand your investment portfolio, your financial life. That financial freedom is something that you would like to choose, right? That choice is available to you at any point, and you can say yes. You can say yes. And so when you think about these things, never add time, right? If your health and fitness, hey Muaz, if your health and fitness is something that you need to get in order, never add time. So when things are showing up, and it can play into small day-to-day tasks as well, right? Again, whether that's getting your workout done, whether that's making a certain phone call, whether that's checking your emails, whether that's getting on a call and reaching out and setting up a time to have a business call to negotiate a business deal, whatever comes to your mind. Maybe it's also booking a vacation, booking a trip to Aspen, right? Never add time. Never add time. So that's something that I have practiced, that that when I think of things, even though I follow an agenda and I follow a schedule throughout the day, there's certain things that when I think of them, what pops into my mind, simultaneously with that, is to never add time. Because so I either have to write it down, or I have to do it right then and there, or it tends to kind of completely float away and go to the wayside, right? So the never adding time, there's certain things that are not going to take long. So it's faster and easier to just do it in that moment and be done with it and keep moving, rather than say to yourself, oh, you know what, I'll get around to that, I'll do it later. If it's literally going to take you less than a minute, and it pops into your head, do it now, right? And now that trip to Aspen, maybe that's something, if you have a team, if you have assistants, that's something that you can delegate. So you can still act upon something in the moment if you have something that if you have someone who you are able to delegate to, right? So sometimes those ideas pop into my head and I'm like, oh, Jesse, you need to do blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, wait a minute, actually, I can just pass that off to my team, but let me take a moment to go ahead and do that. Because if I take the moment to initiate that with them, they're working on it. Now it's completely out of my brain. It's off of my list. And I've passed that on to someone else. So it is still getting done, right? So never adding time in the moment, and just remembering that just it's an invitation, and it can sound a little brash or abrasive the first time you hear it, right? Mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. Mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. And I've said this before, right? No one can raise the bar in your life except for you. Only you can raise the bar. And so whatever area in your life, right? Where is it that you choose to raise the bar next, or right now, or first, right? Because it's going to be really challenging to raise the bar simultaneously in every aspect of your life. And the way that I did it was by, for me, was focusing on specific areas at a time. The first area of my life that I really, really raised the bar and got things in a state of peak performance was my health. Because even though I was someone who was exercising every day, I wasn't eating the best that I could, and I didn't even realize it. And so I spent some time optimizing that area of my life, and that gave me the ability to move forward in a much more powerful way, because I had my energy back. I was able to focus better. I was able to sleep better. I had more energy. Hey, Tyler, welcome. So that initial change and that initial foundational piece was a foundation that made the path and everything else that I chose to take on beyond it significantly easier. And that's something that I did years ago. So the fact that I eat the way that I do now, and I consistently move my body, and I do detoxes and cleanses, I do my best to do them quarterly. I sometimes miss, but I do my best to do them quarterly. And the reason that I do that is because it keeps me, right, my machine functioning at that optimal peak performance level. And that was something that, because I did work on it a long time ago, that's something that's on autopilot. So I don't necessarily have to think about it to make the right choices in that regard. It's just, that becomes a positive habit, and I don't have to, it's not something I have to focus on, right? I don't have to dedicate time or energy into that. It's just part of how things get done. And so then I would choose a different part of, hey, Andy, welcome. So then I would just choose a different focus or a different category of my life and say, okay, this is where I want to put my focus. I want to put all my time and focus and my energy into my financial life, into educating, improving my financial literacy, into improving my understanding of what it means to be financially free, what it takes to become financially free. What are those keys? What are the tools? What are the techniques? And how can I make that simple and fun for someone else, right? Because that was the biggest part of the journey for me was. And what's the reason that it's so fun to give back was I started out on this journey of seeking greater wealth and success, and I received that, but I also received so much more. And that's my favorite part, is to give the more, to give the expansion. So my intention is always, yes, for you to be more financially rich and financially wealthy. But it is also always my intention for you to be rich always in all ways, right? To be rich mentally, intellectually, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and yes, financially. And then also romantically, if you choose that, although while I have my 2 cents about everything, that's not the forward face of what I do, but within the work and the way that I approach money, there's such an expansion that happens within yourself and who you are and who you're being and how you're showing up for yourself and how you show up for the world, that all of those areas in your life automatically improve along with it simultaneously. And that's a byproduct, right? That's a byproduct of the work. So yes, there's things that you're doing, right? Yes, there's things that you're doing to create to revolutionize your financial life. Yes, there are things that you're doing, but at the same time that there's things that you're doing, you're also shifting who you're being. And so the question that I always ask myself is, Jessa, who are you being while you're doing things? Right? Everyone has things they have to do. I have things I have to do. I have to do the things. You have things you have to do. You have to do the things. But the question is, who are you being while you're doing the things? And it exponentially changes what you're doing while you're doing it when you're more connected to who you're being while you're doing the things versus just doing the things. And not being present in that moment and not being present with who you are, right? Because hey DJ, welcome. So how you're showing up, and that's such an important reminder, right? How you show up for yourself is how you show up for the world. How you show up for yourself is how you show up for the world, personally, professionally, romantically, and financially. So you get to you have this opportunity to show up in a different way. So that fits right in with the invitation, right? With the invitation that to raise the bar. Remember, only you can raise the bar, and inviting you to the place of mediocrity is a choice, not an obligation. So if there's a place in your life that you're settling for mediocrity, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why, because no one can create that change for you. People can help you, people can support you, people can guide you, mentor you, coach you, right? Cheer you on. But the choice to create change, the choice to raise the bar, the choice to go beyond mediocrity, the choice to never add time, right? That's a choice that you're making. It's a choice that you're making, and you're making these choices multiple times a day, right? Every new decision is a new opportunity to potentially choose differently. Maybe you need to, maybe you don't, right? So it continues to unfold and evolve for you and with you as you continue to say yes and raise the bar and expand and be open, right? To be open to riches, to richness in your life and within yourself in every way, so that there's financial success, there's financial abundance, there's financial wealth, there's financial freedom, and there's increased levels of peace, of fulfillment. You're creating from a place of being rather than just a place of doing. And the results are different. The results not only happen faster, but the results feel different. And so you have the opportunity to actually really, really enjoy the journey and really, really enjoy that ride and that path from where you are to where you'd like to be. Where you are and where you'd like to be, and how are you going to get there faster, right? How are you going to get there faster? And a couple of those ways that you can get there faster is by raising the bar. Raising the standard. If you're settling for mediocrity, that's a choice. That's not an obligation. You can choose differently. And never add time. Never add time. If there's something that's showing up on your path of as a dream, a goal, desire, those things that are showing up, remember that's absolutely meant for you. And so as long as you're pursuing something that's showing up in regards to a dream, goal, or desire, don't add time. Don't add time to that. Make sure you're saying yes, and that you're optimizing those areas of where are you investing, right? Where are you investing your time? And is that really moving the needle forward from where you are to where you'd like to be? So just as much as as a financial investment, where and how are you investing your time, and is it moving the needle from where you are to where you want to be, right? And what are those tools? What are the tools and who are the who's that support you in moving that needle faster? And I was very fortunate to speak to one of my mentors who moves the needle, supports in moving the needle faster for me today. So it was just, just a reminder of that. All right. All right. All right. I've been live for 20 minutes. And I think I drove that in. So, and invited that to sink in enough times. So have fun with that opportunity, right? With that opportunity, have fun with it. Let it be fun. Let it be easy. Let the opportunity to raise the bar, to know that mediocrity is always a choice. It is never an obligation. Never an obligation for you. See, now you know, right? Now you know. You're like, oh, I don't have to settle for that. It's a choice. That's not an obligation, right? Not an obligation for you to settle ever, for you to choose mediocrity. Never an obligation, always a choice. And never add time. So let it be easy. Let it be fun. Let it be easy, let it be fun, and have a lot of time, have a lot of fun over the next few days playing around with the never add time. You'll hear my voice pop into your head, be like, Jessica said never add time. Jessica said never add time. My clients are like, Jessica, we've got to get bracelets. So they have a WWJD, and it's not what would Jesus do, it's what would Jessa do. And I'm not competing on a religious playing field whatsoever. So that's not a competition. I'm not saying I'm above or below or similar or different than Jesus. It's just the letters happen to match up. But I was with a client earlier today, and she brought it up again. And I said, well, we're going to make it WWJS instead of WWJD. So it's going to be WWJS. What would Jessa say? What would Jessa say? And you're going to hear me in your mind over the next few days, over the next few weeks. You're going to be like, oh, Jessa said, never add time. Never add time. And see how every time that pops into your mind where you're like, never add time, what can I shift right now where I'm not adding time to X, Y, or Z in my life. It's going to show up in multiple different ways, in your personal life, in your business life, in your day-to-day thought process and your tasks. You'll be like, wait a second, how can I not add time to this? Right? How can I not add time? So never add time. Never add time, and raise the bar. All right. I am going to leave you with those beautifully inspiring diamonds and pearls of wisdom and principles of the Peaceful Billionaire. I'm going to leave you with those for this evening. I invite you to join me live every day, Monday through Thursday at random time. So if you catch me Monday through Thursday, it's usually around this time in the evening, but I'm doing my better to make it earlier in the day. But always, always, always live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Fridays. You can always catch all of the replays on YouTube at The Peaceful Billionaire. You can follow me on my other social channels at The Peaceful Billionaire as well. And on YouTube, what you can catch on YouTube, on my YouTube channel at The Peaceful Billionaire that you can't quite catch anywhere else, is the Mission to Billions vlog. And that is my behind the scenes personal journey, the ups, the downs, everything in between, of what is required both internally and externally as I'm living, creating some additional levels of unprecedented levels of wealth and success in a short period of time. And so that's just my own behind the scenes journey of what's going down. And it's been a lot of fun to share. But also I look forward to having those memories to reflect back on, because that is one of the things that propels me forward the most, is at any time, if I stop in the moment that I'm in and I reflect back to where I was this time last year, and I think about where I am now compared to where I was this time last year. And then I think about where I'm going to be, who I'm going to be this time next year, the level of excitement that brings me is the level of excitement that brings me is exponential, is exponential. So there's this opportunity to be really, really excited about what the future is bringing, while also being fully present in the now and enjoying the now and the journey as much as the excitement of what the future holds and what the future has in store. And knowing that what the future has and holds in store for you is going to be exactly what you choose for it to be, or something greater. It will be exactly what you choose for it to be, or something greater. And I'm actually going to riff right off of that tomorrow, will lead me into what I'll talk about tomorrow. All right. Blessings, peace, prosperity to each of you. I am going to say sayonara for now, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.